The people who are truly wealthy rarely look rich, and the louder someone tries to look successful, the more fragile their finances usually are. After decades of observing first-generation millionaires, one pattern appears again and again. At a certain point, money stops being emotional and everything about spending, status, and identity changes. Understanding this psychology reveals why truly wealthy individuals blend into ordinary life, while those trying to appear successful often carry the heaviest financial burdens. When someone accumulates substantial investable assets, typically over $1 million excluding their home, money transforms from an emotional force into a practical tool. It no longer serves as proof of success or personal identity. This psychological transition drives every behavioral change that follows. The shift happens quietly, without announcement, and once it occurs, the entire relationship with spending, saving, and lifestyle choices fundamentally changes. This isn't theory based on speculation. This comes from decades of pattern recognition, watching first-generation millionaires navigate their wealth, observing their choices, and understanding the mental frameworks that guide their decisions. Wealthy individuals stop using purchases to communicate who they are. They don't need luxury cars for validation, impressive homes for confirmation, or visible lifestyles to feel significant. The internal knowing replaces external showing. They've already established their identity independent of possessions, so the urgency to display status evaporates. Research consistently shows that high net worth households spend proportionally less on status symbols than aspirational earners do. The loudest displays of wealth often signal the most precarious financial positions, those revving expensive engines to attract attention, those posting every luxury purchase online, those constantly broadcasting their lifestyle. These behaviors typically correlate with fragile financial foundations rather than genuine security. From the outside, this restraint might look like cheapness or inability to enjoy life. From the inside, it's pure indifference to external opinion. The question becomes not, what will people think, but what do I actually want? A useful filter: if nobody would witness a purchase, would you still want it? That single question eliminates enormous amounts of spending driven purely by external perception. It cuts through the noise of social pressure and reveals authentic desire. When the answer is no, when you realize you only want something because others will see it, the decision becomes clear. That's not fulfillment, that's performance. Every financial choice runs through a single filter. Does this expand or contract my options? The question isn't, can I afford this, or do I deserve this, but rather, does this create obligations or reduce future flexibility? This fundamental shift in questioning changes everything. Affordability is a low bar. Almost anything can be affordable if you're willing to finance it or redirect resources. But does it serve your freedom? Does it enhance your ability to make future choices? Does it open doors or close them? These are the questions that matter. This explains why financially secure people delay upgrades, resist lifestyle inflation, and maintain liquidity longer than expected. They're not suffering. They're not depriving themselves. They're optimizing for something more valuable than immediate gratification: long-term optionality. Federal Reserve data confirms that million-dollar households carry significantly less consumer debt than upper-middle-income households attempting to project success. The irony is stark. Those who appear most successful often carry the heaviest debt loads, while those who've achieved actual financial security move through life unburdened by consumer obligations. Before major purchases, consider whether you'd regret the decision if income dropped 30%. This thought experiment cuts through justification and rationalization. If losing a portion of income would make a purchase feel like a mistake, then it's not truly aligned with financial security. It's a stretch. It's reaching beyond your genuine comfort zone into territory that requires everything to go right. Real wealth doesn't require everything to go right. It allows for things to go wrong without catastrophe. From an external view, physical assets like cars and real estate appear solid. They look like smart investments, tangible proof of success, markers of achievement. Internally, they represent fragility, maintenance demands, ongoing costs, and inflexible commitments. Property taxes arrive without asking permission. Insurance premiums continue regardless of income changes. Maintenance needs emerge on their own schedule, not yours. Every possession creates a claim on future resources and future attention. Liquid reserves feel different. They're quiet, reversible, and adaptable. They don't demand anything. They simply wait, ready to be deployed when opportunities arise or when emergencies strike. Research on financial well-being reveals that perceived security correlates more strongly with accessible cash reserves than with net worth locked in liquid assets. The person with $1 million home and minimal savings feels more stressed than the person with a modest home and substantial liquid reserves. Building substantial liquidity, ideally covering 9 to 18 months of expenses, creates an unrushed state of mind that enables better decisions and genuine peace. This buffer transforms your relationship with work, with opportunities, with risk. You stop operating from desperation or fear. You start operating from choice. That psychological shift is worth more than any status symbol could ever provide. Financially secure people don't win at social comparison because they refuse to play. They've exited the game entirely, not because they lost, but because they realized the prize was worthless. They stopped keeping up with neighbors, buying unnecessary items, or impressing people who aren't relevant to their lives. They don't explain their choices, defend their decisions, or correct others' assumptions. Let everyone think whatever they want. That indifference isn't apathy, it's peace. It's the recognition that other people's opinions about your financial choices carry zero weight in your actual life. Behavioral finance research identifies social comparison as one of the strongest predictors of overspending. When you're constantly measuring yourself against others, constantly checking whether you're ahead or behind, constantly adjusting your spending to match or exceed what you see around you, you've surrendered control of your financial life to external forces. You're reacting instead of deciding. You're following instead of leading. A practical step: unfollow any account that makes you feel behind rather than inspired. If scrolling through someone's feed creates anxiety, pressure, or a sense of inadequacy, that's not motivation. That's poison. Remove it. Your financial decisions should emerge from your values and goals, not from comparison with strangers performing for attention online. Spending isn't seen as momentary pleasure, but as ongoing obligation and reduced flexibility. Every upgrade potentially becomes an anchor. That luxury car isn't just a purchase. It's higher insurance, premium fuel, expensive maintenance, and the psychological pressure to maintain that level going forward. That bigger house isn't just a mortgage. It's property taxes, utilities, furnishings, landscaping, repairs, and the endless demands of more space. Purchases happen slowly and deliberately, driven by a simple question: am I comfortable owning this indefinitely? Not just comfortable affording it now, but comfortable with all the downstream implications it creates for years to come. Using a 72-hour waiting period for non-essential purchases allows emotion to dissipate and reveals whether the desire is genuine or comparison-driven. Most urgent wants fade when given time. The pressure to buy immediately, to act now before the opportunity disappears, to secure the deal before it's gone, these manufactured urgencies serve retailers, not you. When you insert space between impulse and action, clarity emerges. Ask yourself, would I still want this if nothing else in my life changed? If the answer requires other circumstances to shift, if it depends on future income increases or lifestyle changes that haven't happened yet, then wait. Buy from surplus, not from projection. Wealthy individuals don't worry about correcting narratives or justifying their lifestyle choices. They don't explain their financial situation to family members who might wonder about their spending patterns. They don't defend why they drive a modest car despite having substantial assets. They don't justify why they skip expensive vacations or luxury purchases. They simply make choices aligned with their values and let others interpret however they want. This can be particularly challenging with family, where assumptions and judgments flow freely, but the principle remains the same. Your financial choices belong to you. They don't require explanation, defense, or justification to anyone outside your immediate household. They blend into ordinary surroundings, billionaires in casual clothes, indistinguishable from anyone else. This comfort with external misperception is internally unshakable. You have zero obligation to explain your financial choices to anyone. That silence represents strength, not secrecy. It represents confidence, not shame. It represents clarity about what matters and what doesn't. External validation doesn't make the list of what matters. When you need others to understand or approve your financial decisions, you've given them power over your peace of mind. Take that power back. Keep your financial life private. Let your choices speak only to you. People don't adopt these patterns to become wealthy. They adopt them because wealth changed what matters. Money stopped being emotional, status lost its appeal, and freedom became the priority. Real wealth doesn't announce itself. It opts out of the entire performance. Understanding this shift means you stop attempting to appear successful and start building something more valuable: actual choice, genuine options, and sustainable freedom. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. The flashiest lifestyle rarely belongs to the most secure. True financial strength operates quietly, confidently, without need for external validation or recognition. The psychology of substantial wealth isn't about accumulation strategies. It's about the mental transformation that occurs when financial security removes money as the dominant voice in decision-making. That's when people stop looking rich because they no longer need to be seen. They've transcended the game entirely. They're playing a different game now. One measured in freedom, flexibility, peace of mind, and genuine choice. That game doesn't photograph well. It doesn't trend on social media. It doesn't impress strangers, but it delivers something far more valuable: a life lived on your own terms, unburdened by the opinions and expectations of people who don't matter, aligned with values that actually serve your well-being and long-term flourishing. That's the real prize. That's what wealth actually buys when you understand its true purpose.